Do you think Devontae Gaines is a pretty good example of how a player can impact the game without scoring?
No doubt about it. I thought his spirit and his energy was really a plus for us, and he came in and he played, again, he was locked into what he needed to do on the defensive end. He wasn't afraid to make a mistake there, and actually did some good things with the ball when he had it. Didn't try to force anything. He just kind of let the flow, play with the flow, and so we're really pleased with him.
Do you expect more of the same going forward?
Well, you hope. You know, you'd like to see. I mean, with our team, that's what we want to see: is more consistency. And if he'll just continue to buy into doing exactly what we need him to do, yeah, there's no doubt he'll get some minutes.
You have any update on Josiah?
I haven't yet. I don't know. You got to stay at practice. You'll see. I haven't talked to Chad yet today.
Is it the way Eve played the other night? You know, kind of is it tough for you to move him onto the perimeter? And
It is. It's tough. Because, you know, I think he has really got settled in there where he feels comfortable there, but he's willing to do whatever he can, you know, to help his teammates and help us. And we like him there. He likes it there, but depending on, you know, where we are with our team, he's got to do what he's got to do.
Why do you think y'all have kind of had Kentucky's number in this building since you've been here? What do you think explains it? Can there be any carryover effect even when this?
You know, so one of you guys asked me the question the other day about what's been the problem going to Alabama, and I said I don't know, and I don't know how to answer that question. You know, I just think that I've said before I don't think there's a better place to play basketball than Thompson-Boling Arena. Our fans are just terrific, but this rivalry's gone back way before all of us. You know, and that's been a big part of it, obviously. But you look at Kentucky, I think John's done a really good job with his team. They're defensively as good a defensive team as he's had in a long time. I mean, where I think they've really bought into how he wants to play, and offensively, he's going to decide how he wants to do it, and he's not afraid to get into, you know, long possessions with him. And it's to me a typical Kentucky team that when they start playing their best basketball this time of year, and that's what is happening with his team right now.
What is it specifically about their defense that makes them so tough to go?
Well, I think they understand. I mean, you know, Higgins is a really good on-ball defender. I would imagine he's going to put a lot of pressure if he's matched up with San Diego. He's going to do that. But and they've got some rim protectors. They've got that, and they're just very, very sound. Don't take many chances, and just they make it hard to score.
How good is Nick Richards?
I'm really impressed with Nick and the fact that I think John and his staff have done a great job just developing him. I mean, he was a guy that I think most people thought at the time was going to be a one-and-done player, but yet, you know, you got to give him credit in the fact that he's bought into the work ethic and what they need him to do. And I'm sure it's more than just a work ethic. I'm sure it's understanding the game more and more, but when you look at his development, he scored a couple different places. Now he scored, you know, face up, shoot the ball. He obviously good around the rim, and he gets to the rim. Those lobs there's really no defense for him if he doesn't get the ball. They get the ball where they want to and throw it up there because he's, you know, so long and go up and get it. But I'm always impressed with guys that work hard, you know, and develop, and I think he's done that really well.
Is there a better big man in the SEC than Richards?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it where I could say that totally and everything, but I just know this: he's really improved, and he's a terrific player. And again, I think John's doing a great job utilizing what he does do well.
How important were those Kentucky wins the first couple of years here when you were trying to establish culture and build a program?
Well, I mean, obviously you're talking about one of the great basketball programs in the country, and a program that everybody, you know, when you're not a part of that program, everybody wants to beat Kentucky, right, just like they do any of the schools that have had great success over many decades, and Kentucky's one of them. And obviously just being 2.5 hours up the road is, you know, to be quite honest, I didn't understand the rivalry between Tennessee and Kentucky when I got here, but I didn't, and because I had no reason to understand it. But the fact is, I have a lot of respect for John, and I think he's the perfect coach for Kentucky. I don't think you could find a guy that is more suited for a job than he is, and what he's done is really just a terrific job. And I just hope we can go out and play well, and that we can continue to improve.
What do you understand about it after 10 games against Kentucky?
Well, it's like what I would say the same thing when I was at Texas with Kansas. Once we started playing them every year, that became a game. It was a big game. You know, Clemson, even though Clemson didn't have a great tradition against North Carolina, but when you play home and home every year with, you know, Carolina coming in at Clemson or Duke, and, you know, same thing, you know, those teams have earned the respect that they deserve it because they've done it year in and year out, decades in and out, and it's just a matter of, you know, people want to call them the blue bloods, and the fact is when you've had that much success and you're not part of that, you want to beat them, and as coaches, they've set the standard, and that's, if you want to play at that level, you're going to have to understand that those are the teams you've got to be able to compete with night in and night out.
What was the biggest difference for Euros from having so much success at Mississippi State to achieving that at Alabama?
You know, that's a really good question. He seemed nervous the other night for a reason, and I don't know why. He wasn't moving as well. He's got to realize that he does have a distinct advantage if he would use it, but, you know, he doesn't yet still get himself where he needs to go, and when he does get himself there, he makes it so much harder than it needs to be, which I think that's, some of that's youth, some of that's the fact that he's only played, what, 5 or 6 games now, but as time goes on, he's got to be ready. I always talk about doing your work early. He doesn't do that. He gets it and he's looking around. You know, he's a skilled player, can do a lot of different things, but he's got to play stronger. There's no doubt about that, and he's got to be quicker off his feet.
In your experience, when one of your teams puts together to kind of come back win that you had the other night, in the next game, is there a carryover effect? Does it build on that momentum, or is it just a totally new situation when you play?
You know, you like to think that, but I don't know. You know, I thought there was games this year where I felt like we were moving in the right direction, and then we didn't. And some of it has had to do with lineup changes when guys get hurt, and it's difficult sometimes when guys go from not playing to where they're having to be thrust into a situation. It's hard to fix that overnight, but the fact is, the one word I don't think I would use with our team right now is consistency. And whether we, but the other night, I will say this, I thought from the beginning of the game, even when we were down, we felt, I say felt good, we felt like we were doing, our players were doing the things that we asked them to do, and we did feel like at some point in time that we would make some shots from the perimeter, which we didn't, but yet they did settle in offensively and start doing some of the things that we wanted done early in the game. But defensively, we felt like from start to finish that we were locked in with our scouting report, and when you see guys doing what you've asked them to do, and you know, you sort of you live with it.
What was the key to you shooting 32 free throws at Alabama and them shooting 8?
Well, it's two different styles. I mean, really, you know, you look at their analytics, their shot chart. They shoot a lot of shots behind the three. They shoot what, average 33s a game, and if not, they try to get to the rim. And we're just the opposite. We're going to go inside first. We believe in the mid-range game. A lot of people don't. We believe in the three-point game, but we're going to start it from the basket to mid-range to out. And but it's just a different style. And you guys watched us play early in the year when we were shooting threes like, you know, like we had to do it, and shooting 33s and not get to the free throw line. It's hard to get to the free throw line. You're just going to be content with doing that unless you've got the kind of shooters you feel like can make 10, 12 a game. I get it, but it is a little bit more difficult to get fouled that way.
Malachi Wideman and Dee Beckwith signed with Tennessee football yesterday. I know they both have the intention of playing basketball. What does kind of the recruiting process look like for a player who's signing for a different sport but is ultimately hoping to play basketball as well?
Well, one, we're all excited that they chose to be Tennessee Volunteers, and you know, obviously when they came in with their visits, you know, they came over to spend some time with us, and they, first of all, they have signed a football scholarship, and that will be their first priority. But with that said, I think we've become pretty good at adding guys in the middle of the year. So we know how to deal with that. But their first look will be, I mean, they know it's football, and I think our program's on its way where I do think that we'll be playing in bowl games later. But the fact is, you know, we like both of them. I'm just excited they're here, and but as they get here, they get settled in. It'll be their call. You know, Jeremy and I have talked about it, and we both know it's it'll be their call on what they think once they go through it and live it and see if they can do it.
Have you
You've got
coached?
a-
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Have you coached players at the college level who've done two sports?
I have, and some of it, I did at Clemson my first year. We had a player, Patrick Sapp, who was a quarterback for a year, then moved to a linebacker, which tells you something, right? But he did. He came in and he was our hatchet man, you know, and did a good job of it too, actually, you know. But the rules were a little bit different back then too. But these guys are more skilled, and I mean Patrick was a big time competitor, and that's what that team was kind of built on. But and at Texas, we recruited some guys, and again, some of them, once they get in, they have to decide, you know, because it's up to them to do that. But like I said, we're just excited they're Tennessee Volunteers.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you.